that's a total guy.
Okay, great. Hey. Yeah,
Go ahead. Broncos project.
Bronco, yeah, with
Yeah. Oh, that's good. No, it's great.
Yeah.
Where is that going to be?
Here is
That's fantastic.
I want to be able to
Let's mention it. Yeah. Give me specific information there. I'll mention it right now.
Yeah, great.
I'll let you go.
Perfect. So here, we're going to give you a tour of the...
these are the heroes. This is Jim Bondack's
Jim, how
board.
are you? Nice to see you.
This is Mr. Lester from General Electric. He's Vice President. And
How's our friend doing? Okay?
again,
He's doing well, right? They're all doing well. They're all good.
so they're going to tell you really quickly what they built here.
Okay, done.
And the White House was superb.
Good.
Vice President.
Well, this was a very important project. Please go.
Yeah, it actually started on day one. 60 days ago, we talked to some folks on your staff around what the needs were. It was around PPE, so helping first responders, but also clearly the charge for ventilators. So maybe what I'll do is just explain to you. From the GE side, we've been involved from day one on the ventilator side. So Jim and I have been in
How
partnership.
long have you been in GE?
17 and a half years. Yes, in the healthcare division the entire time.
Great companies coming back. The engine thing has got to be tough. The airplane engine is very tough. That's got to be tough because that was your
Huge
that was your baby, right? They're not exactly making too many planes,
servicing.
but they're making these. So go ahead.
Actually, making all the stuff you see here. Gowns, masks, face shields, face masks.
Are you making it all here?
Yeah, well, actually, in 3 different facilities. So there's over 1,000 UAW workers, all volunteers that are helping out. So, okay, President, our first thing was we wanted to move very, very quickly. The need was really fast. Things like how we help people. And one of the first meetings we had with the administration said that the alerts to contract potential to be high. We thought, how do we actually help out if somebody's wearing a mask? More protection, so face masks. So what you see behind you is essentially the first week we were producing face shields. This is an example of a face shield. And
Big thing unique about this.
it just provides And so this photo behind you
Is this
is
any special?
so it's a cleanable plastic, basically. Nice piece. This is 4 weeks later. They give you a sense of scale. In less than 30 days, we were building 4 million face shields a week. That's our PDM facility. And it's just,
Keep doing that after the crisis. Do you think it?
our leadership.
What do you think?
Well, we could for as long as it's needed, I think. You know.
There'll be a time when you'll have it.
Yeah.
You tell us.
Yeah, that's good. You did really a good job. Quickly.
That was the thing that
Hello, everybody. Hi.
My question to you is this. Thanks to all the work of manufacturers like Ford and
Who are you with?
I'm Carol Kane with CBS in Detroit. And
Good,
Great
good,
Press.
very good.
Welcome to Detroit. My question to you is this. Because of all the ventilators being made here at Ford and the hero efforts of all the manufacturers there doing the same sort of thing, we now know we have enough manufacturing going on for the time being as far as ventilator goes. You said you think we have enough that can share with other countries. My question to you, sir, is looking 6 months from now, a year from now, how much do we need to keep back in our stockpile to keep us safe?
Yeah, we were just talking about it. We have a very big stockpile right now, and we're building it bigger, and we're helping a lot of other countries. Nigeria, we just sent 1,000. We have various countries, France, Spain. We have a lot going to Italy. We have a lot going to a different, probably 15, 18 countries. They're calling us. We had the capacity to do this, nobody else did. So every state now has more than they need, and our stockpile is totally full. We have a tremendous amount. So now we're really helping other countries where they're, losing a lot of people because they don't have ventilators. A ventilator is hard to do, and I want to say that Ford and General Electric have done an incredible job working together, and also the companies that work with you. They really did. They did a great job. They do a great car, and they really did a great job on the ventilators. And I hear the quality of the ventilator has been really top of the line.
Thank you.
Mr.
We
President,
really appreciate it, fellas.
Thank you,
Great
sir.
job.
Mr. President, there was a lot of interest about whether you would end up wearing a mask today.
Yeah.
Could you just take us through your thought process of why you decided not to wear
Well,
a
I
mask?
I had one on before. I wore one in this back area, but I didn't want to give the press the pleasure of seeing it. But no, where I had it in the back area, I did put a mask on.
Did you have the goggles on too as well, sir?
I did. I had goggles and a mask right back.
But why would you not be
And
wearing
here's another one.
Why would you not be wearing it? So
Because in this area,
why would you not
take
be
it.
wearing it here, sir?
Not necessary here. Well, everybody's been tested, and I've been tested. In fact, I was tested this morning,
But
so
it-
it's not necessary.
But the executives are wearing them.
Well, that's their choice. I was given a choice, and I had one on in an area where they preferred it, so I put it on, and it was very nice. It looked very nice, but they said not necessary here. Yeah, please.
What about the example that it would set for other Americans?
Well, I think it sets an
to see you
example. I
wearing
think
a
it sets an
mask?
example both ways, and as they say, I did have it on. Thank you. Yeah, please.
Mr. President,
I just like your question so much. You know what? It was such a nice question.
no, wait, it's a great question. Here's the question for you. So you have seen
Yeah, take an extra question.
There we go.
Go ahead.
We've seen the manufacturers here, Ford, GM,
Yeah.
FCA, others, small businesses, turning things overnight and making PPE materials. As someone who is the President of the United States, in terms of our manufacturing might, how do you see what's taken place in these last
This
few
is the
months?
biggest mobilization since World War II. And these people were in charge of it. They did it. They did a fantastic job. They did a really fantastic job, and we appreciate it. All of these companies, they came together, and they used to make cars here. They used to make other things here. And now they're not only the ventilators, we're just saying the masks and all of the other products. What other product you make? It's a head of Ford, by the way. Not bad. Not a bad position.
Yeah, so we've got.
She's a very nice
I know.
woman.
Hi, Carol. How
Hi,
are you?
Bill. How you doing?
Well, you know what we're making. We've got the pressure respirators. We've obviously the ventilators, the masks, the gowns. We've really anything that anybody needs. We responded quickly, and we're very proud of our workforce. They've been amazing.
Is he doing a good job?
He is. In fact, Bill, you have been through so many crises through your years as chairman and CEO of the company here. How does this crisis, dealing with this pandemic, making PPE materials compare?
Well, everyone's different. I mean, if I won't take you through all of them, going all the way back to maybe the oil shocks and then the .com meltdowns and all of those. Every crisis is different, but what's amazing is how our people respond. And in this one, they didn't wait to be asked to do something. They said, "Here's an opportunity, and let's go." What I love about our culture is they didn't ask for permission; they just went. And that's something that we've done throughout our 117-year history, and I hope we'll always do.
By the way,
Mr. Ford,
here's
we have
my
another
my mask right here, and I liked it very much. I actually, honestly, I think I look better in the mask. I really did. I look better in the mask. But I'm making a speech, so I won't have it now. But I did have it on right here, and I think some of you might have gotten a shot. Thank you very much.
Mr. Ford, can you confirm that the president was told it's okay not to wear one in this area? It's up to him.
Keeps the occupant safe. It takes in fresh air. Oh, that's good. And we use automotive components. So we heard the message that we need to go quickly. We built 32,000 of these respirators, and we've shipped 887,000.
Your seatbelt, something.
It's just if you walk around here, you can see the respirator. It just holds the respirator. So on the first day when we had this conversation, the drawing, we said, how do we use automotive? And so we thought about taking out of a timing controlled seat in F-150, take a battery pack off of the wall tool, a battery source, and then a filter to filter the air.
I hear it's a very high-grade ventilator.
Yeah, it's great. They've done a great job. The ventilator and the respirator, they're top. They're really, really good. And what's also amazing is how many our team can make. I mean, that's one thing the
So how many will you make a week, ventilators?
Ventilators, we're ramping up to 6,000 a week.
So folks, it's 6,000 ventilators a week. Think of that, from a running start, which wasn't much of a run, actually. So we had very few in this country, almost none. We were not in that business, and now they're making thousands a week. Great thing. So what about this?
So we've built 32,000 of these already.
Wow.
So we'll be build 12,000 a week.
Is that foolproof, would you say?
So basically, this is the maximum protection for an
Maximum.
It basically blows filtered air, filters out the virus, filtered air over the occupant space. So if they're in a large ICU ward, or they're in one of these makeshift ICU ward where there's a lot of the virus that could be in the air, this would give them the maximum protection.
We got to get back to the rallies. Do you agree with that, John?
One question, Mr.
Gotta
President.
have the rallies. Yeah.
One question. The Secretary of the Treasury said there is a strong likelihood that we'll need another fiscal stimulus. To your thinking, what shape would that take?
I think we will. I think we're going to be helping people out. We're going to be getting some money for them during the artificial, because it really is. It's an artificial closure. And now we're going to be able to open it up. This isn't like for long-term problems, and it takes years and years to have it come back. The Depression took 12 years, 14, 15 years. We're going to be back next year, maybe even in the fourth quarter. In a few months, we're going to be back because we closed it and now we open it. But I would say there could be one more nice shot, one more nice
And
dose.
what do you think should be in it?
Well, I'd let you know, and I know exactly, but I'd rather do it at the appropriate time.
We know what payroll
Today
tax
we're
cut.
celebrating these great companies doing ventilators and other equipment, but we have a very, very specific plan, and it'll be great for the American people, and our economy is going to be back soon, and Ford and General Electric and these great companies that helped us so much in a time of need, they're going to be very happy. They're going to be, and you're already gearing up. I know you're gearing up. Your lines are starting to roll, making cars again. So a lot of things are happening. And by the way, on our southern border, it's never been so secure. We're up to almost 200 miles of wall, and we have never had, that whole area is, nobody comes through that area. The area where the wall goes up, that's the end of that.
And so you're having this speech here this afternoon. What are you thinking about in terms of campaign rallies? When will you be able to get back to big rallies?
So as soon as you're able to have people get in, we've never had an empty seat since the day I came down the escalator with our future First Lady. We've never had an empty seat, you know that, and would have thousands of people we sent away. And I think the demand now from what we see is greater than ever before. We're going to have to go to certain states where we're able to, look, I don't want to have a stadium where you're supposed to have a person and then 7 empty seats and then another person. So we might do some outdoor big ones, and we may also just wait till the stadiums can open up. I think it's going to be soon. We'll go to a place like Florida. We'll go to a place like maybe Georgia or some other place where they're going to be opening up. Whoever opens up first. The demand has been incredible to get going with the rallies. I just hear the music in the background. I'm saying we've had rallies like nobody's ever had, and we would love to get back to that. I think it's going to be sooner rather than later.
And I know you were asked about this briefly this morning, this new AstraZeneca vaccine from Oxford that HHS has invested $1 billion in. How much promise do you think that holds for an early vaccination program?
I think it holds tremendous promise, but we have many other companies who are just about as far along. We have many companies. We have the greatest pharmaceutical companies in the world. They're equally, they're really in a position, and I'm not only talking about vaccine, I'm talking about cures and therapeutics. Therapeutically, we have some things coming out which we think are going to be great, but they have to be tested quickly, and we're doing it very quickly.
Who would get the vaccine first? First responders, elderly people?
Right now, what we're doing is we're setting logistically with our military. Our military is in gear so that we can give 150, 200 million shots quickly. The military is in gear. We can move a couple of 100,000 soldiers immediately in time of emergency. So this is not nearly as big a deal as that. It's equally as important, perhaps, but it's not as tough logistically.
But how would you prioritize it?
I'll sit down with a lot of people and we'll figure it out. We're going to sit down with the military, and we hope to be in that position fairly soon. So rather than having the vaccine, doing the test, and then starting to gear up, we're taking a risk because, you know, it could be that if something happened, but I don't think that's going to be. But in addition to that company, we have other companies that are very far advanced. And also, don't forget, therapeutics and cure. We're talking about a vaccine in this case, but therapeutics and cure. I mean, frankly, that's my first choice because that would take care of people that are in trouble right now. Okay?
Mr. President, on the issue of testing, there's been questions about whether you're satisfied or not with what the CDC is doing, the work they're doing, particularly the director, Dr. Redfield. Can you address that? Are you satisfied?
I think they're doing a good job, a really good job in a very complex situation. You know, we started off, nobody knew what the virus was. It came in from China. Nobody knew what it was. And frankly, I think they've done a really good job. I'm very happy about it. A lot of other people think they've done a lot of, you know, great work. We're now up to, and this is beyond even CDC because we've done it between Jared Kushner and a lot of geniuses coming in from Silicon Valley and a lot of people, these companies where they could make ventilators and all. Look, what we did with ventilators is incredible because we geared up in a short period of time through General Electric, Ford, they're represented here at the top level, through other companies. We were at Honeywell the other day, they make masks. Who would think Honeywell is making a mask? But that's what they're making now, is a mask. It's a very high-tech company. You know, they make the dashboards to an airplane and lots of other things, and now they're making masks. Our company's geared up so quickly, so fast. Honeywell opened a plant in 3 weeks, from literally zero to open making masks in 3 weeks. It's been an incredible achievement. There's never been anything done like this since the end of World War II.
You said a number of weeks ago, we can't let the cure become worse than the disease. Where are we in that calculus?
I think I was the first one to say it. I don't know. Would you say that I was the first one? But you can't let the cure become worse than the problem itself.
Where are we?
I think we have to. I think the governors have to start opening up. We now know the disease. We know the weaknesses and the strengths. We know that older people are affected gravely, and younger people are not affected gravely, frankly. You look at the statistics, it's incredible. And we know that we have to protect some people much more so. I think a lot of the governors have done a very, very poor job on nursing homes, but they've done a good job on other things. I know every governor. I can grade every governor. But we've made a lot of hero governors. We've done a great job for the governors, and my relationship with them in almost all cases is very good. And remember this, one of the beauties we were just talking about, not one person who needed a ventilator didn't get a ventilator.
But with another 2.4 million people claiming first-time unemployment insurance benefits today, how close are we to the cure being worse than the disease?
I think that a lot of these states are going to, the ones that are sort of sticking to a certain very rigid pattern, I think they're going to stop. I don't think the people are going to stand for it. This is a country that's meant to be open, not closed. And we did the right thing, John. We saved millions of lives, millions and millions of lives. You would have had anywhere from 1.5 million to 2.5 million, 3 million lives. Think of it. So if we were at 100,000, instead of 100,000, multiply that times 15, 20, or 25, it wouldn't have been acceptable. It wouldn't have been sustainable. You couldn't have done it. So we've called it right, and now I want it open. And we're going to open, and if there's a fire, an ember, a flame, someplace we put it out. But the people have done a great job, and General Electric, Ford, and all the other people that work with them have done fantastic work. And Honeywell, again, I was there last week, but Honeywell, they've done fantastically well also. Thank you very much.
You mentioned that embers are smaller fires, they talked about the virus coming up. Are you concerned about a potential second wave of this virus?
People say that's a very distinct possibility. It's standard, and we're going to put out the fires. We're not going to close the country. We're going to put out the fires. There could be, whether it's an ember or a flame, we're going to put it out. But we're not closing our country. Thank you.
Are you looking to replace Dr. Redfield, or is his job
No.
safe?
Spoon fed.
Thank you very much.
Let's go that way. Let's go. Come on. Let's go, Chris. Gotta go.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Go see you guys go.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Our program will begin shortly.
It's a simple thing, trying to stay afloat. The captain said, without his boat, some things are getting better. There's a garden growing and a million weeds with no way of knowing who has done which deed. That's an honest tale, said the helmsman to the maid, about a woman delicious and a matter of faith. Big wheels still rolling down on me. One thing I can tell you is you got to be free. John Lennon said that.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ford's Rossonville Components Plant Manager, Angela Weathers.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. My name is Angela Weathers, and I'm the plant manager here at Ford's Rossonville plant. It's great to have you join us today, and thank you for coming to Ypsilanti to honor the work that we have been doing. Service to our country and our company runs throughout our veins, and when this crisis began, we all wanted to find a way to help create the equipment that the country needed to win. Our team has stepped up and worked tirelessly for a common cause. Our workers, both hourly and salary, have done their very best to put safety first, to stay safe, strong, and on the job. I do want to take a moment to ask our team members to remember all of our healthcare workers, first responders, essential workforce who have given their lives in order to serve and protect the public during this extraordinary challenge in our country. It has been a privilege leading this team, and I'm so proud to be part of the Ford Motor Company family, led effortlessly by Bill Ford. So without further ado, please help me give a standing ovation introducing our Executive Chairman of Ford Motor Company, Bill Ford.
Well, hello, everybody, and thank you so much, Angela, and thank you for your tireless leadership. You and your team represent the very best of Ford. And welcome, Mr. President, to Ford's Rossonville plant, and welcome to all our employees who are joining us today. Today's a big day for Ford, and it's an important time for our country. Normally at this plant, we assemble components and hybrid batteries for Ford cars and trucks. But for the past 6 weeks, our employees have been assembling machines to save lives. And as everybody here knows, Ford has always been a family business. But it's not just my family. Generations of Ford employees have punched in every day in plants like this one, building for America. And we take that trust very seriously. We have a special responsibility to take care of each other and this country, just like we've done for 117 years. In World War II, many of our workers went to fight overseas, and those who couldn't stayed to build war machines of all types needed to win the war, in plants just like this. In fact, President Roosevelt visited our Willow Run plant a few miles down the road to honor the Ford workers who were producing B-24 bombers during World War II. Ford was called the arsenal of democracy. Today, some of their grandchildren and great-grandchildren are building equipment to save lives and to protect our medical professionals and first responders. I'm deeply grateful to all of our employees in Rawsonville for stepping up and leading the way. When we paused our factories to keep our workers and their families safe, our teams began thinking about what they could do to serve their country. And just as they always have, our employees sprang into action. We are the most American automaker, employing more hourly workers in the U.S. than any other automaker. We assemble more vehicles in America than anyone else, and we invest more here. And that's why, at a moment's notice, we were able to shift gears and put our manufacturing expertise to work, producing life-saving medical gear and equipment. By tapping our spirit of innovation, Ford engineers worked with 3M to design powered respirators from sketch to production in less than 40 days. And working with GE Healthcare and the UAW, we plan to manufacture 50,000 ventilators right here in this facility. And just down the road, we've assembled over 17 million face shields for our medical heroes across the country. That's what manufacturing can do. And that's why a strong manufacturing base is critical for our country. And thank you, Mr. President, for your support of American manufacturing. This week, many of our assembly lines restarted again, with Ford workers building the cars and trucks America depends on, like the F-150 and others that you see in this room. Actually, I think this one might make a pretty good presidential limo. Anyway, but here's what I want all of our employees and your families to know. We put as much care and attention into developing our plan to return to work as anything I've been involved with in my 40 years at Ford. We consulted the best medical experts, we rethought plant layouts, and we employed technology that will help keep all of us safe. And many of the concepts that we're deploying across all our plants were pioneered right here in Rawsonville. The many ways our 200,000 employees have stepped up to help each other and the world through this pandemic makes me very proud to call each and one of you a part of our Ford family. America's engines may have gone quiet over the past few months, but with a new spirit of safety, responsibility, and innovation, Ford is proud to start them up again. And now it's my pleasure to introduce the President of the United States. We've spoken many times over the years, and while we don't always agree on every issue, he has always considered our opinion. He supported tax cuts which have helped move the economy forward, and we deeply appreciate his work in leading a new trade treaty with Mexico and Canada. And there is no doubt that we share a passionate view that building in America is the right thing to do for our workers, the economy, and the future of this country. Mr. President, thank you for joining us here today to celebrate our workers and this important effort to help get America through this crisis. Please join me in welcoming the President of the United States. Thank you.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Thank you very much. I like that dais very much, actually. It's very special. Nice wood. Beautiful, like the dashboards on your cars, Bill, right? Absolutely. Thank you. And I just heard you're going to be having 2,000 more jobs right down the road for the Bronco, which is a big winner. That's great. Fantastic job. Thank you very much, Bill. Thank you. Thank you. It's right down the road. It's an honor to have Bill with us. Thank you very much. And I'm thrilled to be back in Michigan. We've done a lot of work in Michigan, a lot of plants are opening. A lot of plants stopped. We stopped them from closing, and we kept your workers here in Michigan and in the United States, different places, as you know, all over the United States. But it's an honor to do. It's one of the reasons I'm standing here. In fact, years ago, I was honored, long before I ever thought of the presidential situation. I was honored in Michigan, and I said, how come you're losing so much of your car business to Mexico and other places? And I asked that question very innocently. It was probably 10 years ago. The Man of the Year, they named me Man of the Year in Michigan. And I said, what's going on in Michigan? And we've stopped it. And thanks to a lot of great companies like Ford, a lot of things are happening here. And that's why I'm so honored when Bill mentioned the plant that you're going to be doing 2,000. And it's also a great success, the Broncos. So that's really, really big news. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I'm honored to stand on a factory floor operated by the incredible workers of Ford Motor Company. You really are tremendously talented people. I know it. I'm not sure everybody in the world knows it, but a lot of people do, and they're all going to know it after this speech. But you are really talented, great people. Thank you very much for doing a great job. We know what it takes. Few people have that ability, few. In our nation's war against the invisible enemy, the hardworking patriots here today answered the call to serve. You proved that the American worker is built Ford, and you're built Ford tough. A great expression. You still use that expression, I think, Bill, right? That's a great expression. And let's see, can I use it for maybe myself? Built Trump tough. I don't know. They may say that's a takeoff. That's no good. You can't do that. And you've made really America proud, and you've made Ford proud. And America is very proud of Ford. Right here at the Rawsonville component plant, you're building a great medical arsenal to defeat the virus and cement America's place as the leading manufacturer and exporter of ventilators anywhere in the world. We're now getting calls from other countries, many other countries, both friend and foe, believe it or not. We get calls from foe, and we want to help them out too. And we're making thousands and thousands of ventilators. And I think we really sort of started right over here. We got a call very early on from Bill and the group. And this is incredible what's happened and what you've done. With your help, not a single American who has needed a ventilator has been denied a ventilator, not one. And as you remember, we took over empty cupboards. The cupboards were bare. And we got into the business of ventilators and testing and all of these other things. Now we've done 14 million tests. The second country is at 3 million and less than 3 million. Germany, South Korea, and they've done a good job, but we're at 14 million tests, and the tests are the best of all. But on behalf of our entire nation, I want to say thank you very much. Thank you very much for doing a great job. Driven by the love and sweat and devotion of everyone here today, we're saving lives, we're forging ahead, and as of this week, the beating heart of the American auto industry is back open for business. That started right away, didn't it? It starts right now. And you have all those supply chains coming in. They're going to come through. Because if they don't come through, just build the product right here, okay? Because, you know, that can happen too. But we heard that. It's a big story that we're starting with the cars now, and it's going to be a big success. In addition to many wonderful UAW workers, we're joined by Secretary Ben Carson, who's done a fantastic job. Where's Ben? Ben is here. Thank you, Ben. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Hi, Ben. Thank you, Ben. Thank you. And Amanda's done a fantastic job for Ford. Although I'll ask Bill about this later. I'll just find out. I want to make sure for myself, but I know. Based on results, I know. CEO Jim Hackett. Jim, thank you very much. The word is yes, Jim. The word is great job. Great job. Plant manager Angela Weathers. Angela, thank you very much. That's a big job. That's a big job. Do you enjoy it? Yeah, great job. Fantastic. It's a big deal. And GE Healthcare U.S. and Canada President Everett Cunningham. Thank you, Everett. Thank you, Everett. Before going further, let us send our love to all of the families that have been displaced by the flooding near Midland. I spoke to your governor this morning, and we've sent some tremendously talented people out here. We have FEMA, and we have the Army Corps of Engineers, and they can do things that, frankly, nobody else can do. The Army Corps of Engineers, what they do, so they're very good at rebuilding dams that are busted or blown up or for whatever reason bad things happen. But Americans are praying for Central Michigan. We're going to take care of your problem. The governor and I had a great conversation this morning, and at the appropriate time, I'll go and see the area that we'll be fixing. We're going to help you out. We signed a emergency declaration very quickly, very, very quickly, and we're going to help you out very quickly also. In recent months, this state and this country have faced great challenges. Here in the Detroit area, you were hit hard by the virus, very, very hard in this area. As one people, we hold in our hearts the precious memory of every person that we have lost. And we've lost too many. One is too many. We lost too many. It came in from China, and it should have been stopped in China. They didn't stop it. They should have stopped it. And as one grateful nation, we proclaim, God bless our healthcare workers. They've done an incredible job. They're like warriors. They're like warriors. I want to thank all of the nurses and doctors. Because of the virus, Ford was forced to stop automobile production for the first time since World War II. That's something. But you did not despair. Your company leadership called up the White House and asked the most American of all questions, how can we help? True. I said, that's nice. That's very nice. Every one of the workers in this project volunteered to take part in the greatest industrialization and mobilization project that our society's done, the American people have done in our lifetimes. The company founded by a man named Henry Ford, good bloodlines, good bloodlines. If you believe in that stuff, you got good blood. They teamed up with the company founded by Thomas Edison, that's General Electric, it's good stuff, that's good stuff. And you put it all together, they're all looking down right now, and they'd be very proud of what they see. You began the production of 50,000 life-saving ventilators, a number that if you go back just 2 months, I would say, most people would say it would be impossible to believe. The media's back there, and they would have said a couple of months ago the creation of that many ventilators would have been not a possible thing. Every single one of these ventilators is made in the USA with American heart, American hands, and American pride. Just as your great-grandparents produced more than one Model T every minute, just as your grandmothers and grandfathers produced a B-24. You did the B-24 bomber. I saw pictures in the back. That was quite a weapon. It was quite an incredible weapon. B-24 bomber, and just as a Ford F-150 normally drives off the line every 52 seconds, you quickly mastered this complex new machine. A ventilator is a very complicated, delicate, big, expensive machine. 1 month ago, Ford had never built a single ventilator, and now you're a world leader. That's not bad. You adopted the designs of a company that was building just 10 a week, but a very high-quality ventilator. And very soon, you'll be producing one new ventilator every single minute. It's an absolute amazing achievement, and you're really helping now beyond the country. You're helping other countries throughout the world. We have 188 countries that are fighting this terrible enemy. And ventilators are something they could never. You can do cotton swabs. You can do all of the things. You can even do testing, but ventilators are a whole different lot. It's very tough. Great job. Thanks to you, we'll stockpile over 100,000 new ventilators in the next few months and have offered over 14,000 to friends and allies all around the world, and they desperately need them. Just this week, I spoke to 5 countries. They called me, is it possible to get ventilators to them? And I'm sending them over. I want to recognize just a few of the exceptional Americans who made this historic feat possible. Keith Pastorino is an electrician here in Rawsonville. Keith, please tell us what you've done, how you like it. Come on up. Let's see Keith. Oh, look at Keith. Thank you, Keith. Love to grab him and shake his hand, but I guess we can't do that, can we?
Well, on behalf of Ford and the UAW, welcome, Mr. President. I'm Keith Pastorino. I'm an electrician. When I first heard the news that my plant was going to be building ventilators, it only took me a minute to get a hold of my UAW, and then I decided that this was my opportunity to serve my country. So on the first day as a volunteer, we went full speed, 7 days a week, 12 hours a shift. I would go home sore, bruised, had blisters, was bleeding, had trouble sleeping, just because of the pains of that day. But I kept coming back because this is a great nation. And I couldn't say that I'd be more proud of my coworkers for their efforts and their sacrifices to build these fine Ford ventilators, respirators, face masks, and face shields. Thank you. This has been an absolute honor and a blessing, and God bless you, sir.
Thank you very much, Keith. Thank you. Thank you. Great job. Great people. We're also joined by Gary Brabant, a quality technician. Gary, come on up. Gary. Thanks, Gary.
Good afternoon. Thank you, President Trump, for the honor to tell my story. My name is Gary Brabant, and I'm a fourth-generation Ford Motor Company employee. My grandfathers worked for Ford Motor Company during World War II, and my father retired from Rossonville after 41 years. I always knew growing up I wanted to work for Ford. I am very, very proud of the part of the ventilator project and the amazing job done by Ford and the UAW team here. I had anxiety when I received the call to volunteer. I didn't want to get sick or take it home to my family. However, upon arriving here on the first day, I felt safe due to the new policies and procedures put forth by our UAW health and safety team. It's a great feeling to know everything we are doing here and each assembly we make is saving somebody's life. Thank you, Mr. President, and God bless America.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Gary, very much. With us as well is Adrian Price, who has helped lead this effort as one of Ford's top engineers, highly respected. Come on up, please, Adrian.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Really thank you for the opportunity to represent my friends and colleagues who've been involved in Project Apollo. I'm honored to be part of a team that over the last few weeks has been able to produce more than 17 million of these face shields, 13 million surgical masks, 32,000 pressurized air purifying respirators, and here at the Rawsonville facility, produce a ventilator every 60 seconds. These feats are a testament to the skills and capabilities of the men and women at Ford Motor Company and our UAW and other partners who have come together to do what we could do to support the battle against COVID-19. Ford Motor Company and its employees are always prepared to step up and do the right thing to support those in need, but most particularly in times of significant national crisis. I believe these acts are part of the DNA of our company and are inspired by both the Ford family and our continuing history of service. Personally, I'm proud to be playing a part in supporting the brave men and women who are on the front line every day, putting themselves at risk to help others. And as I stand here today, surrounded by these awesome American-made cars, SUVs, and beautiful trucks, I'm so pleased that our facilities and dealerships are safely in operation and serving the needs of our current and maybe future Ford and Lincoln customers. Thank you, Mr. President.
I bought plenty of them. I bought plenty of them. Thank you, Adrian. Yep, I have a lot of those Lincolns. That's great. Thank you very much. The global pandemic has proven once and for all that to be a strong nation, America must be a manufacturing nation. We were bringing it back. 600,000 jobs. Previous administration said manufacturing, we're not doing that. It's gone from this country. They were wrong. 600,000 jobs until we had to turn it off. And now we're going to turn it back on like never before. You'll see numbers that you didn't even see the last time. We're going to rebuild it quickly. It's going to happen very quickly. We're already seeing indications of that. Larry Kudlow gave some numbers that were really inspiring this morning based on what we're hearing and seeing. True national independence requires economic independence. From day one, I've been fighting to bring back our jobs from China and many other countries. Today, I'm declaring a simple but vital national goal. The United States will be the world's premier pharmacy, drugstore, and medical manufacturer. We're bringing our medicines back. And many other things, too. We must produce critical equipment, supplies, pharmaceuticals, technologies for ourselves. We cannot rely on foreign nations to take care of us, especially in times of difficulty. In previous decades, politicians shipped away our jobs, outsourced our supply chains, and offshored our industries. They sent them abroad, and we're bringing them back. And we've been doing that long before this crisis. We're bringing them back. That's why we have so many plants being built all over the United States that make a beautiful product called cars. Bringing them back. You see it. I told Prime Minister Abe of Japan, Shinzo, you gotta get them back. We have many Japanese companies now building car companies here. I said, you gotta bring them back. We've had deficits with all of these countries for years and years and years. They were ripping us left and right. We had no idea. We had no leader that understood what the hell was happening. But now you do. I said, you got to bring them back. We made a great deal with South Korea. We made a great deal. Japan, $40 billion Japan is putting into the United States, not to mention all of the plants that they're building. The South Korea deal was a terrible deal, and we made it good. Hillary Clinton actually made that deal. She said it's going to produce 250,000 jobs. And she was right. It produced 250,000 jobs for South Korea, not for us. Wasn't too good, was it? But we are bringing it all back to our country, and it started long before this happened. And maybe that's one of the reasons this happened. Maybe people weren't so thrilled with what was going on. But we had the greatest year in the history of our country, and have it again very soon. And this administration, we know that it matters where someone and something, where someone works on something or where something is made. As we've seen today, companies like your great Ford and workers like you are a national treasure. I consider Ford to be a national treasure. I consider you to be a national treasure, the talent, because that talent and culture and commitment to winning are irreplaceable. Your patriotism cannot be outsourced. Your 117 years of incredible manufacturing heritage cannot be replicated anywhere else in the world. The talent, I see the talent. I know what talent is. I understand your world and I understand your business. That's why in my administration we live by two simple rules: buy American and hire American. And we have another rule that you may have heard on occasion. It's called America First. We didn't have America first. We had America last under previous presidents. They were more concerned with the world than they were concerned with their own country. My first week in office, I withdrew from the job-wrecking Trans-Pacific Partnership, which would have destroyed the auto industry. I don't know. I never asked you about that, Bill. I mean, I think you agree. Oh, you do? Would you please stand up and just nod that you agree? Your industry, Bill, would have been destroyed. had that deal gone through. And not only yours, by the way, but other countries would have been very happy. So I don't know. I don't know how the hell these unions aren't endorsing Trump instead of the standard Democrat. A Democrat that doesn't even know where he is. We renegotiated the catastrophic deal with South Korea to preserve the protective tariff on foreign-made pickup trucks. You know, the chicken tax, they call it, right? You know what the chicken tax is? Most profitable thing you have. You know why? Because of the chicken tax that was expiring a year ago, and I got it extended. Because of that tax, it's one of the most profitable products. You live for that product, right? I kept my promise to replace the NAFTA disaster with a brand new USMCA, which is a fantastic deal for our country. Tough new requirements under the USMCA ensure more cars to be built in American plants by American labor, and even labor endorsed it. But you know, the big thing is you're losing all your car industry. You weren't going to have a car industry left. Now people aren't going to be moving back to Mexico. They're not going to be moving back, and you're going to have it the other way. At the same time, we preserve our relationship. Mexico's actually been very nice. Our border is the strongest it's ever been. We're up to over 200 miles of brand new, beautiful border wall, and that 200 miles is pristine. Nobody comes through. This is a serious wall. It's a serious wall, and it's incredible what we've done there, too. We had the best, among the best months we've ever had, and now when somebody comes across, we bring them back. We don't go through 5 years of litigation. In the other days, or the older days, not so long ago, if they stepped a foot into our country, they ended up, you had to be Perry Mason. You end up in a court case. And it took years. You'd release them into the country by law. And then you'd say, come back in 5 years for your trial. And only the very stupid people came back, about 2%. They didn't come back. Why should they come back? They were released into our country. We don't do that. We don't do that. And we want people coming into our country, but we want them to come in through merit, and we want them to come in legally. It's very important. I'll continue to fight for U.S. auto workers as we rebuild our economic strength. Our strategy for a phased and responsible reopening protects those lives, those American lives, those high-risk American lives from the virus, while allowing those at lower risk, such as young, healthy people, where they just have a much, much lower risk. We've learned a lot. You're a certain age, you have a problem with diabetes, or you have a problem with your heart, you're a prime suspect for this horrible disease. It's a terrible thing. So we've learned that young people do very well, incredibly well. Older people, especially older people that have problems, they don't do well at all. So we have to protect those people. And we want to get everybody now safely back to work, and we're going to do that. I spoke today about our churches. Our churches are closed, and I said to CDC, I had a great conversation. I said, our people want to go back to church on Sundays. And our churches want to take care of their parishioners, their people that go to worship. And you're going to see something come out very soon about opening up our churches. A permanent lockdown is not a strategy for a healthy state or a healthy country. Our country wasn't meant to be shut down. We did the right thing, but now it's time to open it up. A never-ending lockdown would invite a public health calamity. To protect the health of our people, we must have a functioning economy. And as I said, and I'll say it 100 times, we're going to have an incredible year next year, right at the beginning. Even our fourth quarter is going to be very good. There's a tremendous pent-up demand, and that includes for your cars. Americans who need and want to return to work should not be vilified. They should be supported. Unlike many politicians and journalists, for those who earn a living with their own two hands, working remotely is just not an option. You don't have the option of doing that. Our plan emphasizes safety and protection for returning employees. I want to commend Ford, along with General Motors, General Electric, Fiat Chrysler, and so many other companies, a lot of them in this area, for blazing a trail to safely restart America's economic engines. You are demonstrating that we can open our country while taking precautions like social distancing, daily medical screenings, strict hygiene. You can get tremendous numbers of very quick temperature checks. Whoever heard they aim a camera right there and 2 seconds later they tell you your temperature more accurately than the old days where you put it under your tongue for 2.5 minutes. This is a little better. But you get temperature checks. And I want to thank you all for leading America back to work. You look at states like Florida, Georgia, and many others where the numbers have actually gone down. They're open, but their numbers are going down, and very substantially down. With your help and our policies, this country is poised for an epic comeback. This is going to be an incredible comeback. Watch, it's already happening. Within the next year, we are going to be exceeding any expectation. And I've had a good gut feeling about a lot of things, including running for president. I said, I think I could win. And I guess I was right. Everyone here today, and by the way, I think we're going to do better the second time, and it's very important that we win the second time, or everything that we've done, including manufacturing jobs, all this, is going to be not in a very good position. Everyone here today is the heir to a majestic and noble tradition. You walk in the footsteps of those, the Motor City, in the 1920s and 30s, who stocked the arsenal of democracy in the 1940s, and who set the standard for automotive safety and style in the 1950s and 60s and beyond, and even today. Bill was showing me some of those cars. It's incredible. I wanted to buy one, then I heard the price. I said, forget it. Said, I'll use one on occasion, right? But what a car that is, huh? What a car. Our friends and allies marveled at these triumphs of American industry, and our enemies learned that nothing can stop the strength and power and grit of the American worker, nothing. Just like generations of Michigan manufacturers before you, each of you has done your best for America in its time of need. You love your country. You love your country so much. Now you have a critical role to play in forging a new legacy of American greatness that will inspire and endure for generations to come. It's a very important time in our country's history, in our country's life. Because of you, the Ford name will forever stand as a symbol of American excellence, innovation, quality, and craftsmanship. And because of you, America will be strong and healthy and prosperous and free for many, many decades to come. I want to say very powerfully, very strongly, God bless you all. God bless America. I'm proud to be here. I'm proud to be with Ford. Bill, thank you very much. Everyone, thank you very much. We'll be back. We'll see you a lot. Good luck. John James, thank you for being here. We're going to have a great senator, John James. Thank you all very much. Thank you. Thank you.